Okay, hello YouTube. Um, Wanted to come on here just briefly. I don't know how long this is gonna last, but for just a few minutes, and kind of just be open and honest really about where I'm at in my life at the moment. I've just reached 34 years old, and while I'm grateful and happy that I'm still alive and I've lasted this long, because quite frankly I didn't think I was going to make it to this age. I am very happy about that I still have my life and everything and my health, as far as I know. Everything seems to be working just about. There are a lot of issues going on up here, unfortunately. A lot of people might not see it, they might not realise, but I wish I could say I was content, if that's the right word, satisfied with my life. I wish I could say that I finally found a place of peace and tranquility, and I was kind of happy with everything in general, I think in some ways I'm happier than I was in certain ways than I was when I was in my 20s. But now that I'm, not that, let's be honest, not too far away from 40, every period of life has its ups and downs, and there's never any kind of perfect age or period in life, I guess, because there are advantages and disadvantages of any life stage. But I think at this point in my life, it's weird because I'm considered to be still young, as a young man, really. But up here, I don't particularly feel very young. I feel, a good 20 years older than what I am, I guess. But physically, I feel kind of pretty good, really, actually. I don't feel that much older than I did, say, when I was sort of 27, 28, really. So I feel quite good. I've put on a bit of weight over the years. I think that's kind of quite common as you start getting into middle-age years, middle-age spread, as they call it, which I need to work on. But yeah, I do feel that I'm in a place in my life where I don't feel particularly fulfilled and satisfied or very happy, actually. And actually, I haven't really felt any sort of enthusiasm or energy or happiness really in my life for probably going on 8 years now. Maybe longer. And now that I'm in my firmly planted in my mid-30s, I'm sure it's probably just a common thing, and it happens to everybody, or at least in your 40s anyway, if not in your 30s, that you do start questioning your sanity, actually, at times. Where you are, where you've been, what you've done, what you haven't done. Missed opportunities, wasted opportunities. Regrets. Things I've said and done to people I wish I hadn't have done and said. And just a sense of really, a kind of sense of guilt and a sense of wasted time. As I look in the mirror these days, I can see that. I can see in my hair. You can't really see it that well on the video here on my iPad, but I've got grey hairs coming through all over the place, and I can see my eyes starting to change a little bit now. So this wasn't here that too long ago. My face is sort of bulged out a little bit more than it was. That's just because of the weight, but probably age as well. I'm not sure how long this video is going to last, but I don't know. I'll just keep going until I can't anymore. Let's try and keep it to about 10 minutes if I can. But yeah, I really wish I could say that I felt when I go to bed at night that I've achieved something with my life, that I've excuse me, achieved something worthwhile with the years that I've had. But unfortunately, the reality is that while I have done some things that I'm happy about, and I've done a bit of travelling, I guess. You know, I'm certainly luckier than a lot of people, but you know, it's that thing of social media comparison. You know, you only have to look on YouTube and just see so many places and videos of places that you've never been, probably never gonna go to. You know, just people having lives a lot better than yours. But then again, you don't always know what the actual full extent of people's lives are, so you can't always go by everything you see on social media. But you get my point. You know, I don't know. I've just found myself to have been, quite frankly, actually, quite pretty suicidal, really, the last few years, on and off, and extremely, extreme mood swings, very irritable, temperamental at times, and God knows what that's done to my marriage over the years. I don't know how my wife has put up with me. I don't know why she does. It must be love. I don't know what else it would be. So I'm thankful that I have somebody by my side, and I've had somebody by my side. But you know, there comes a point where that's not enough, because you do need to have a social life. You do need to have a circle of close friends, and I don't have that at the moment. And I haven't had that for a very long time now, actually, probably a good 10 years. But I did bring a lot of problems on myself. That, you know, there comes a point in everyone's life where you have to own up to the shit that you've brought on yourself, excuse my language, but let's face it, you have to have a certain degree of accountability and responsibility at a certain point, and I would say that it should happen in your late 20s, and if not, certainly in your 30s, because you're not getting any younger, and you know, your youth's swiftly disappearing. So you know, there's just a sense of you realise that your life isn't going to extend forever. You know, there's the realisation that people have changed, people have moved on. Friendships that you once had, you aren't going to get back, or not without a fight. And in some cases, you'll never have those friendships back again, not the way they were, because you've got older, and people have had families, people have had all sorts of personal problems themselves, you know, bereavement, struggles, financial problems, etc., children, stresses of daily life, the stresses of work, etc. And so there's what I guess what I'm trying to say is that there's a real sense of isolation and loneliness at this point in my life, and I really do feel very, very, very depressed. A lot of the time, actually. And also I just feel very indifferent these days. I don't feel really, honestly, I don't really feel passionate or interested in anything anymore, to be honest. I don't really care that much about a lot of things anymore. I don't really have the energy or the patience to deal with a lot of things anymore. I just quite frankly, just don't give a fuck about a lot of things and a lot of people anymore. And maybe in some ways that's a good thing. But I wasn't always like that. I did used to care, and I used to be more involved with things, and I had more optimism, I guess. going to try and keep this to 15 minutes, and that's it. I really want to stop then. But if there's anybody else out there that's struggling with depression and just getting older and just watching the world change around you and things not necessarily getting better and kind of being overcome a lot of the times, feeling helpless and frustrated, and this overwhelming sense of melancholy, depression, or whatever you want to call it, sadness. Just know that you're not alone. There's a lot of people out there going through it. I don't know whether therapy is the solution to it, or exercise, or diet, but you can certainly try. But for me, at this point, I just don't really seem to care that much about doing anything anymore. I just don't really want to do anything. Which is odd, because not that long ago I was exercising, only a few months ago I was exercising and kind of trying to get back in shape again, and just, I don't know, I find myself losing motivation very, very quickly these days. And I don't know, there's almost a sense of serious bereavement. I think it's because I am technically middle-aged now, early middle-age period. There's this sense of who gives a shit anymore kind of thing. Who cares? No one fucking gives a fuck. It's why should I give a fuck anymore? It's no one's gonna bother. Nobody's interested in having any kind of friendship with me anymore. I'm married. I've got nothing to prove to anybody anymore. And maybe what I actually need is just a shake up in life. Maybe as much as I hate to say it, maybe I just need a change. Maybe I need to have a fresh start. Maybe that's what it is. There's a reason why a lot of middle-aged men in particular go through that whole buying a car, running off kind of thing, and chasing after younger women. And it's because they felt so hopeless and so damaged and depressed for so long that they think that that's the only way out of it. And it's I don't think that's necessarily the productive or healthy way of dealing with it. But you can understand why people do that. I'm not saying it's right, but I can understand why people in desperation sometimes go off and do things like that, because they're not necessarily really thinking things through. They're just sort of acting on impulse and their emotions, and it sort of never really ends well when you do things like that. And so, I do feel for anybody out there that's going through this kind of thing. I know how utterly dark and debilitating it can be. It has been in my case, where I just find it difficult to do a lot of things now. I kind of just prefer to be left the fuck alone. I'm sorry for swearing so much on this video. I didn't intend to, but it's just off the cuff really. I'm just being honest and real with you. I think really, if I'm being honest, if it wasn't for my dogs and my family and my wife, I probably would have killed myself actually. Because there were just times where it just becomes too much and everything just starts crushing down on you. And you just feel the walls coming in and everything's just sort of caving in, and it just becomes too much. And I don't know how I've survived sometimes. I really don't know. Don't know how I've made it this far in life. I feel for my uncle, I feel for my wife, I feel for my family, I feel for my old friends and stuff, people who tolerated me and put up with me through my rough times and stuff. I can't necessarily blame people for wanting to have a kind of a arm's length kind of a connection with me and stuff. I get it, I understand, and I can empathise with that, because I've kind of had to do that myself to some extent with people. So anyway, there we go. We're up 15 minutes now, so That's all I really wanted to say.